All right, welcome to new video daily recap today. I just got back from the gym, just took a shower, so we're gonna go over the trades that we took today. I'm up around 4,600 on the day. I think 44 after like commissions and stuff. But green streak's still going. We're continuing. We're going strong. Today was really good. Today was we got some really nice setups. We're gonna talk about why my bias was what it was going into the day, what setups we did. The first initial trade that I wanted to take, I kind of missed the entry that I wanted to, but then I ended up using the same bias for a later entry. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about and go over today. But let me show you guys. I'm going to start just showing my P&L in these videos so people don't like start being like, oh my God, this guy's on paper or something. So this is, I did a screenshot it because I don't want to give away my fucking info on my account, but there you go. You can see the date 44. If you want to see the fucking thing of live account here, let me give you this as well. Yeah, and just to prove, just the haters, not even just the haters, but just I want to prove, So here you go. You can see live. So we're trading with cash here. All right. Now that's out of the way. Let's get into it. So going into the day, I did have a bearish bias, especially after yesterday, right? We gapped down. This to me is a certain, whenever we have 2 days, normally Monday and Tuesday are when we get a manipulation move. And then the Wednesday, if we get a move on Wednesday to the downside, that means Thursday and Friday are most likely going to be continuations. And that's kind of what I used my bias going into the day is we gapped down overnight. I'm expecting us to come back to this gap and possibly respect it as a PD array and then look to sell back off. And that's exactly what my bias was going into the day, and that's exactly what happened. So I had my gap, the gap from the new day opening gap that we had last night when we ended up gapping down in price. I had this marked out, and I wanted to see price come back to this area and then look to see if this starts to react. So in the morning, I was waiting to see if we can get displacement out of this to the downside. At this point in time, we ended up coming up, displaced down. Now, at this point in time, I wasn't super bearish yet. And the only really reason I wasn't super bearish and I was just a little bit conflicted is because at the time, ES was showing a little bit more bullish structure and DXY was very bearish. So looking at DXY at the exact same time, or actually let me pull it up here, or let me show you what ES looked like first. ES at this specific time, we ran this imbalance. So this is kind of what I was a little bit hesitant on. And this was the first trade I took today. I took a winner and a loser. I took two winners and one loser. This is the first trade I took was a small loss. And looking back, this trade it wasn't a good trade. It wasn't a bad trade. I just didn't have the information that I should have needed to take this trade, which was when I saw ES come back, we ended up holding this bigger time frame 15-minute fair value gap. We ran back up to the upside. We ran this imbalance. And at the time, NQ is now starting, or at least like right here, starting to run this. We actually get a candle that pushes all the way up here. And I'm expecting us to maybe run through this now. I'm like, all right, I'm bearish on a bigger time frame, but we might run this and actually go sweep this high one more time. And that's kind of what my thought process was at the time. But I should not have taken a trade off of it. So the trade that I took on ES was right when I saw us run that imbalance. I was pretty confident that, or I wasn't super confident, but I wanted to see us come up to take out that buy side level. So the first trade I took was in this imbalance here, and I took a small little long here, stop very tight at this low. And this was kind of the first trade I took. Again, not a good trade, really. I just wanted to kind of scalp it just because this got ran through. Most of the time when we run this imbalance and then NQ starts to run it, a lot of the time we'll just get a push up, and ES was a lot more bullish at the time. So now looking back, probably shouldn't have taken this trade. And the only really reason why this was not a bad trade is because if NQ would have ran this imbalance, then I'm positive that this trade would have played out. But I took it too early, knowing that none of the candle closes have actually closed above this imbalance, right? We never ran this imbalance. Notice all of the wicks are doing the damage here. No candle closed above this imbalance, so we were continuing to hold this the whole entire time. Which made me realize I shouldn't have taken shorts there. You can see the 2-minute here came up as well, rejected it back down. So the second trade that I wanted to take, and I missed my entry on, was actually right here. So zooming into the 15-second, this is when I start to see the reaction. So this is a perfect 2022 model, right? This is the exact 2022 model. We have these equal highs that end up getting swept. Buy side, we have a bigger time frame PD array. What am I waiting for? Displacement to the downside, a break of structure with displacement, and then a pullback to some sort of imbalance. We come down, we break this low right here, acting as our market structure shift. We now expect this fair value gap to hold and then break down lower. But when I normally trade these setups, I like to zoom in and find the internal trade. Like I want the rejection of that imbalance first, and that's what I was looking for. So we came up, chopping, still holding, boom. Right when we get this candle, I'm looking to enter short in this imbalance. I was looking to take short in this imbalance. When we came down, we formed another imbalance, and I was like, all right, I'm going to enter short now in this imbalance. Never ended up tapping this one either, and then we just end up selling off. So looking back, should have just jumped in because everything I needed to see had already happened. Again, you could say it's hindsight. There's times where I'll get a better fill where I get entry, but I could have just entered. I'm not going to lie because everything was already in my favor at this point. The only really thing that I could have done is get this fill instead of this fill, but it doesn't matter. Like, again, I could have entered lower size and then added if we came back up or whatever, But looking back, again, I'm not upset about it. A lot of people I know a lot of people started FOMOing just seeing this like sell off and missing the entry. But at times you got to recognize my bias is correct. My execution is just the only problem here. Is everything that's playing out that I wanted to play out is happening. I just didn't get the entry that I was looking for, and that's fine. But you have to journal it and say, hey, what could I have done differently here? Looking back, nothing really I could have done differently, or maybe just entered it once I got that, just the displacement to the downside, instead of being super precise. But again, normally that's going to reward me with being picky. So picky's not a bad thing. So then after this, once we get this continuation displacement, again, I'm now confident that the draw on liquidity becomes these previous lows. So this is what I'm really looking for. Once we finally get that displacement, I know that I can still look for another short setup, right? The same bias and the same reason that I would have taken that earlier trade is I can still use that to my advantage to target sell side because we're now targeting sell side, right? It hasn't been taken yet. So I'm looking for this low and then this low. First, I'm looking for this low. This is low-hanging fruit, which means I'm very confident that this low is going to get taken. And again, you can see afterwards, we actually came down, swept this low, retraced back up, and then finally took this low. So this low always is going to get taken pretty quick, and that's why I like to use it to my advantage. So the trade that I took here was smaller time frames. This is the only really time where I'll scalp trends. A lot of the time I don't like trading trends, but this is the time where I will, and I like scalping trends, is when we have a clear draw on liquidity. The bigger time frame model has already started to play out, meaning we have buy side rejection of bigger time frame imbalance, we have displacement. Once all of that is already starting to play out, this is when I zoom in and I look for entries. So what I zoom in and I look for is the exact same thing that I would look for on any other setup, which is rejection of a fair value gap or some sort of PD array, an SMT displacement, and good risk, and that's pretty much it, and then targeting whatever the draw is. So the first trade I took right here was I was looking for a setup. I was looking to see if we might come up, take this high, but then right when I noticed at this specific time here, we're starting to pull back into the 1 minute imbalance and also this 15-second inverse and BPR, a bunch of different confluences here. We form an SMT. ES takes out this high. Right when I see this bearish candle come in, I enter short. Right when I see this come in, I enter short, noticing this will probably be the soup entry. And then my first target for this is I actually played this out really nicely, and this is what I want to go over. Because you'll notice I have two trades here. And what this basically is saying is the first trade I entered 5 contracts. So I entered 5 contracts right here, and I took off 4 of those contracts. Right here. Right when we started to take this low out, and we started to be hesitant on going lower, at least so far, I took off the 4 contracts here looking to add back. But I'm going to take out the best fills that I can have possible, right? Now, that's just how I trade. I'm a scalper. Like, you can hold this to this low. That's fine because you have confidence with that. But I'm looking to get in 4, take out 4 at the lowest I can, add back 4 at a premium so I get even a better fill than before. That's how I take advantage of these moves is as I just get the best fills I can. So I'm in 5 here. I'm out 4 here. So now I'm in 1 contract. So now I'm looking to see if I can add back, but I need to see more, right? I need to see more happen. So now my initial entry was, here, and I exited most of my contracts down at this low here. I'm like, okay, where can I add back this position? I zoom back out. Hey, I notice another 1 minute fair value gap that we have here, right? We have another 1 minute fair value gap, right? Oh my God, my dog is tweaking. Hold on, let me let my dog out for a second. Jesus Christ. All right, sorry about that. So we have this 1 minute fair value gap. This is, again, the bias that I'm looking for. I'm looking to see a rejection of this and then to head back towards sell side. So what happens is I take off 4 right here, and then I add back that 4 that I take off. So my position size is now back to 5. But I add it back right here at a better premium. So I take it off down here to make money on the position, and then I add back those 4 contracts at a lower price, or at a higher price technically, because I'm shorting. And I make that difference. And then I make even more when we get that move to the downside, right? So I'm just taking advantage of knowing the draw, taking advantage of the trend move, scalping the lows, adding on highs, adding on pullbacks, taking off the lows. So that's just kind of how I played today. And then I took off all my contracts when we took this low. So I entered back in my 4 contracts, took off all 5 at this low. And those were the 2 trades that I took today. Now, the best entry, in my opinion, today, I would have made a lot more money. Again, don't really care. I mean, I care because I could have made more money, but you can't really think about it like that. If I got the entry up here, and that's what I was originally looking for. I was looking to load pretty heavy up here, but I just missed the entry. So not upset about it, but it happens. So after that, we ended up sweeping this low, coming back up into this 15-minute fair value gap and the 15-minute inverse. This is just beautiful efficiency. This is just efficient price action at its finest right now. This is just beautiful price action. Buy side swept, rejection of this displacement, take the first low, pull back to the inverse and respect that, pull back to the double inverse right there. And I guarantee you, now at this point in time, I stepped away. I wasn't looking to take any other trades because, again, when I'm up 4K in the morning, I don't want to get back profits. But this would have been another really, really great setup, which would be, again, come up. We still know the drawn liquidity is probably this next low. We come up back into this 15-minute fair value gap, back up into the 15-minute inverse. Again, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for displacement to the downside and a fair value gap. Come up, come up, come up. Boom. Displacement to the downside, fair value gap. This is your short, targeting the lows. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then that's it. So those were my 2 trades today. Right now, what do I think is going to continue happening? As I still think we're going to go lower. I'm kind of hoping that this is kind of where I think the standard deviation is going to. The original manipulation move in the morning, taking that, expecting us to probably start to hesitate lower here. But I'm super bearish. I think we're going to probably continue to sell off sometime tomorrow. But I do think we need a little bit more of a rebound. So I'm kind of expecting us to come here, respect this 115 to 100 level, and then maybe have a nice little recovery bounce later in the day. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. But yep, 4K up on the day. We're continuing to kill it. I think we're on a 10 days now. 10 days with 10-day green streak. So we'll see if we can continue it up. We've been getting really nice setups, really nice action, staying patient, staying disciplined. Discord's fucking going crazy. Everybody's banking. Everybody's learning. It's fucking. I'm so happy to see everybody's growth. But yeah, I'm letting my trades and I'm letting my consistency speak for themselves. I don't need to tell you guys who the GOAT is and who the beast is, but I'll let my trades and my consistency and my content continue to speak for itself. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.